Christine. It's time for a Scraplift Crafternoon. Let me show you what we got going on. This is an Instagram post by Scraps by Jules, and it's a pet one, right? So we have these 3 patterns here that are torn on the left-hand side. There's some mixed media here. There's also a strip here. She's got some tags, and she's used her tags for journaling. We'll see what I do there. Little embellishment cluster here, one down here. She has a cut file that she's filled with vellum. I don't have either of those, so we will do something different. I don't know yet what. I have an idea, but I'm not sure. And then, of course, her little puppy here. So isn't that cute? Let's see. What I have is this photo here. This is my daughter and her 2 dogs. And this is at Christmas, so I thought this would be good to use. My Vicky Booten. This came in my Scrap Room Flavors of the Month. So I think it's, wrapped in ribbons. I love this collection. This was so pretty. I think what I may do here, the problem is I don't have a ton left. I have this black piece of cardstock. I'm contemplating cutting this and using these, maybe, some kind of way instead of the footprints. That could be fun. And then I'll still have 2 patterns left I can use over here. And then I still have these strips here. So let's see, if I do that, I could have used like this. It doesn't have to be the exact same pattern. She did, but it's okay. I could even use this one now that I say that. Like I can have my 3 patterns. This could be one of them. Oh, no, it's not long enough. Well, actually, it'll be behind the photo, so that would be fine. So maybe that. And this might have to be my tags. Something like that, you guys. So I can mount this. I'm going to try to squeeze out some photo mats, you guys. So that's kind of where I'm starting. Let me do a little cutting. If I cut this, I'm going to see where I'm at. And then from these perspectives, because I need a wide one. Yeah. Let me start doing a little bit of cutting. I'll be back on a second. You guys, this is the second time I've done this voiceover because this layout took me a while, which when that happens, it means I have a lot of recording time, right? And I had gone through and I had edited and took out stuff and all that. And then I started to do the voiceover and it was like, holy cow, I have been talking forever. And I was like boring myself. Well, if I'm boring myself, I'm darn sure going to bore you guys. So anyway, my whole point in telling you all that is I've cut a bunch of stuff out that it seemed a bit redundant and I'm starting over. So what I've done so far is I have taken my papers and I have taken and torn the edges. I mean, you guys have seen that done 1,000 times, so I didn't bother to leave that in there. I have got the right-hand piece over there. You can kind of see it laying there. I've got the grid paper that I've torn. I have the horizontal colored stripe. And then I have a second little green kind of plaid piece. And then I've got the pie, the half circle that was on the left-hand side of that piece of pattern paper. And I have cut that out, and then I've cut them into the pie shapes. And then I have scuffed the edges of those little pie shapes. Now, I'm going to be honest, I almost forget about that right-hand sided green piece of paper after I start doing the mixed media. But I do remember, but that means I have to do my mixed media almost twice in that section over there. So here's me kind of messing around. I've now pulled out my mixed media, which basically I've got this Tim Holtz Distress Oxide. It's called Old Paper. It's a really light color with a little bit of a green undertone. Now, I want to be honest with you guys. I kind of frustrate myself sometimes because I'll make these, I want kind of an organic shape, and I seem to always end up with a square in the upper right up there. It looks very square to me. And it kind of frustrates me. So I need to practice that more. I need to practice making more organic shapes. Now, where I kind of almost mess up too is I'm doing this right-hand side over here. And she had a little bit of ghosting, like blending. So she had this stencil. And then there's this little bit of blending on the right-hand side. Well, that's all fine and good. And I do that. Except I have forgotten to put down the green torn edge. So I do that little bit of ghosting. I'm definitely not far enough in on the paper. So eventually I'll go to glue that edge down and realize I have to add some more. So I just don't remember at this point if I left that on camera because, again, I had to cut some of this out, you guys. The film was way too long. I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down. I do not do the edge. And, oh, you know what? I guess I didn't zoom out here. So hopefully you can see some of this. I'm taking these pie pieces and I'm organizing them kind of like the paw prints that she had, the little cut file. I don't know if you can get the same sense of it. I hope so once it's all said and done. It's, again, kind of to replace those paw prints. I'm going to mess with these a little bit. I'm going to fast around, and I think I'll cut some of it out, like I said, eventually, because it's just too much fasting. Your girl was fasting a lot with this one. I think this layout took me, I wouldn't say twice as long as some as I've done lately, but for whatever reason, I think there's just so many different techniques, right? The paper tearing, the mixed media, the edge distress. There's just a lot of techniques on this one, so it took me a little bit longer. I mess with that piece of acetate, and I go, nope, you're not going to stay. I'll stick it even behind the Christmas tree, and I go, nope, you're not going to stay. I'll take that off in just a second. At this point, I have matted the photo on black cardstock. I ultimately will triple mat it just to make sure it stands out. I messed around with that little snow globe there. That does not stay. I kind of wanted it to, because I kind of wanted to use everything in this kit, but it just wasn't going to work. I had this little chipboard frame. I really like it, and I kept it down in that lower right corner for the longest, but spoiler alert, I don't use it. I messed with that little snow globe. He's going to move around quite a bit here. The only thing that doesn't really move is the tree. I really wanted to use that tree because you can see in the photo in the background is one of our Christmas trees. So I wanted to make sure I used the tree on this particular layout. I'll tell you real quickly about the photo. I mentioned to you it's my daughter and her 2 dogs, and it's at Christmas time here. Well, behind her, if you're able to look close enough, is actually one of my, it's a charcuterie. I call it charcuterie. It's technically like a grazing table I make for Christmas parties. This year our party was a lot smaller, and up in Dallas I would have 50 people come. I mean, easily 50 people, and I'd fill the entire table with food. But we don't know as many people down here, so I think we ended up with a total of like 10 people, honestly. No, it was 10 or 12. It might have been 12. So thankfully I did do a little bit smaller scale table, but we still had meat and cheese for days, you guys. I'm not going to say I'm sad about it, because I love meat and cheese, but it was like, oh, okay, we need to make some more friends here. We both work from home, so there's not like a coworker situation. So it's like, and then there were other bad things. We had several friends get sick. We did have 2 or 3 people message and say they had come down with something. One of them, turns out she was pregnant actually, and didn't want to tell anybody, but she was kind of sick. Didn't want to tell because it was a surprise. It wasn't quite time to tell. So, but that being said, that's okay. We, I kind of got the sense of how things are going to go. And I think there's like some community stuff I need to plan around. Like this was the same day as the downtown like parade of lights or something. And I was like, oh shoot. So yeah, I'll have to adjust the timing, but that's okay. Here's me making these tags. I did pull a punch out because I did notice in the original, she had like paper, pattern paper ends on the tags of like a little journaling tag thing. And I needed to be a little bit precise, so I thought a punch would be the best way to go. So I've got the little grid papers for the journaling. I've cut that out with the punch. And then I'm going to take this green holly paper, and I'm going to make 2 additional little toppers here. And you'll see in just a second I'm going to cut that. I just did either side of the same piece of paper because it's 2 inches wide. And then I'm going to glue that with Nuvo glue to the top of these little tags. And that's going to become my little journaling spot. It takes me just a second. Again, this is a layout just full of techniques. I don't know that you would even, I guess I didn't think about it when I started scraplifting it. I was like, started working. I go, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's deceptively, I don't want to say deceptively simple, because it's not like you look at the layout and think, oh, that's simple, but it had a lot going on, you guys. She did kind of ghost around the edges of the tags outside these tags here with the mixed media. She had a little bit of ghosting around it. So I'll do that with my little old paper distress oxide here. And then I don't think, let me think just a second. I think I told you I scuffed all the edges of the papers of the pies. Oh, I've already triple matted the photo. Now you can kind of see it. It has that horizontal red and tone on tone, and then white cardstock. And then I'm going to put foam behind the photograph in just a second, just because I wanted it to kind of stand out. And then I'll take my string too. I don't know if I've gone and got that yet. I'll go get my baker's twine. She had used one long string. She looped it through the top tag and then kind of came back through the 3 down toward the bottom and kind of cascaded. And I'll do the same thing there. My little Santa's going to go on the left-hand side by the tree. By the way, I've also glued all these papers together with Nuvo glue. It becomes like a single unit, and then I'll glue it all down together. One second. You guys, my husband was creeping on me. I have I've showed a video before, but my scrapbook room is upstairs, and he had come up the stairs and was standing behind a bookcase, and I didn't know who it was, but I could hear creaking, and I was like, what in the world is that? So I had to go check, and it was him standing there, and I was just like, don't do that. Anyways, so I've got my string. I'm kind of going down this page here. I will tell you guys, I used not every single embellishment because it didn't really fit. So as an example, I mentioned that little snow globe. There's fa la 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 on the right-hand side over there. You can see it. I did not use the acetate branch or the snowflake or whatever. But I still felt like I needed some stuff. So I will get into my Vicky Bouton box. And I will find some little wordy bits. So as an example, I think it's a sticker book for Discover and Create maybe. And it has the special, it's got little black wordy bits with white letters. And I pull out Special Day and So Excited. I pulled out the title down there that says A Story Worth Telling. That's also, I think, from Discover and Create. I used that as the title ultimately instead of that chipboard frame. I just couldn't figure out what I could stick in that frame that it made any sense. And it didn't really go like the original. I mean, it could have worked if I'd had something, but it just didn't. I didn't have anything to stick in there. And the bow wasn't going to fit. And Santa wasn't going to work. And anyway, so I moved the bow down there because she did have that little like star down there. So I used the bow. And then I have got the Santa over on the left-hand side. I do find a little sticker phrase that says, find joy in the simple things and life will always be fulfilling. That's going to go underneath the photo. And then I'll find like some little stars, some little dots, little hearts, just kind of all in my random stuff there. I will tell you, this is a very traditional Christmas palette. So some of the stuff I had, the colors were kind of, I would have loved to have used it, but it was like, it's not going to work. And I couldn't find all my gold dots. She usually has all kinds of gold dots, and I don't know what I've done with them. I might have used them all. I do love all the little gold dots that she gives us on the thickers. I think I'm just kind of going through, y'all. I'm just fastening. I'm still trying to figure out what to put in here. I do find a bunch of puffy stars. And the 24 right there was on one of the chipboard pieces. So that is my layout, you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Apologies for the kind of seemed like a back and forth on there. Make sure you check out the playlist. We do have a group of folks that play along. I don't know. I think it's like 8 or 10 now. We have quite a few to choose from. And, of course, always make sure you show the original designer some love. We always want to make sure we're celebrating her and her inspiration. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.